Okay, guys, so I'm sharing a new journey with you guys, okay? Because I have to get a hip replacement surgery. This is not something I knew. I went to Nova Scotia um I guess not last year. I can't remember the time. A year. I went to Nova Scotia February of 2025 just for a short time to see friends. During that trip, I noticed my hip was killing me, especially when I had to get in and out of a car. And it was a new type of pain. Now, I did actually have a strange pain before, but didn't realize it was my hip because I've been to a class and where we call our hip, I think of as the side. You know, you put your hands on your hips and you shake them side to side. Okay, but that's not where your hip is. It's kind of closer to your groin, where the hip joint actually is. And I actually had a pain there intermittently throughout the last 3 years. One, when I collapsed, I crashed onto my right hip, okay? So even then, I was like trying to get my hip just the right side checked because that had happened. Anyway, but then that seemed to go away. But then I would be walking and then I'd get this pain kind of close to my groin and in the like my inner thigh at the top of my leg. And it would last for days. That has happened to me over the last 3 years, but it would go away. Okay? Didn't associate it with my hip. But in March of last year, I found out that I need a hip replacement. Is it last year? Is this how this is going? Yep. I found out, and they put me in a program called GLAD. So what happened is I fit the criteria for this program called GLAD. And no, it's not the Gay and Lesbian Association of, and it's not the Drunk Drivers Association. GLAD is also a program for people that need knee and hip replacements. And this was a UHN program at the hospital, and it was a 6 week program. And I was like, oh, this is great that I qualify for this because I also struggle with group group activities, events because of my post concussion syndrome. So it's like this is a twofer. However, I could barely do one class for a combination of things. How bad my hip was and the brain stuff. Like, I believe I took the subway there because at that time, when I went to this program, it was last summer, but I couldn't do the program. I still cannot consistently uh, be in a class every day or just like I couldn't. I just started going to shows or trying to go out to a few events last year for the first time in 3 years. Okay? This is why this has hit me quite hard psychologically because because with the concussion relapse, it took me 3 years to start to really function again a bit better, right? But especially I missed people like shows. But I had bad experiences going to some things that people wouldn't know because I'm smiling, I look cute. I even went to a 2 day parties. I wore earplugs though, and I was able to go to the listening room twice. The first time was rough. Took me about a week to recover. The second time I was able to enjoy it a bit more. That would have been in the fall. And I was doing these things to get used to groups of people because I still struggle so much, right? So I was still walking, right? I could still walk. I could still go to the grocery store I go to Costco once every 3 months. I have somebody that drives me. I was still going to the gym.
She was like, she had to come back when she was hanging out with her friends, whatever. And then
I actually use my savings to get my equity back, to pay for the year, full year, the corporate membership, because it works out cheaper. Because going to the gym, which is something I was doing just once a week, riding the recumbent bike, just the whole atmosphere of walking to the gym is a 12-minute walk. My physio also was a 12-minute walk. I was still going to vestibular physio in 2025. Okay, so I'm painting this picture for you. So doing those things helped me because I've been so isolated because of all the post-concussion stuff, which I know people still don't understand, but I'm just always going to talk about it, okay? So, so then what happened is when I found out I needed the hip replacement sooner rather than later in March of 2025, I was in shock because I was like, what do you mean? Like when? They're like sooner rather than later. So March. So I could walk still. March, April, May, June, July, August. Like it was rough. It hurt. It hurt to walk. I was always limping. Like I'm always vlogging. So if you look close, though I talk like nothing's wrong, which is one of the things that I do, which is why I am sharing with you now. One of the things is I do act like nothing's wrong. Like I talk about stuff in my stories. But if you see me, I'm going to aesthetically look pleasing. Okay, that's a thing. I don't want to look how I'm feeling. And I do try to stay positive. I do pray, all of those things. Okay, so you saw me. I documented going to the gym. I'm going to show a clip here. I was riding the bike up until November. Then all of a sudden, looking around this room. Ooh. Says I will. I couldn't really walk anymore without excruciating pain. That stopped me from going to the gym. I went back to my doctor. I don't even think I had a crutch then, but she was just like, what is wrong with you? I got sent to the hospital, like very soon after that visit to get x-rays again. And basically they were ready. They were like, when do you want your hip replacement? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, spring, summer, winter, fall. So this was November. And I was filling out forms for surgery, everything. I was completely overwhelmed for a couple of things. Everything was really fast. So yes, I can still talk to you. I still understand things. But when it's fast, if you talk fast, when you give me lots of forms and tell me, okay, go, are they filled out yet? That's okay, take your time. I met the surgeon. It was all crazy. A lot of times when things happen fast, like my doctor, she talks fast, I have to take it in after. That's like, so my cognitive skill, so basically, my brain still works. But what has changed from the concussion and then getting another concussion in 2023, which is what pretty much happened to me. I just wasn't aware at first because you're not aware. It's very strange. But anyways, what was I saying? Yes. Okay. So what happens is that my creative brain still works. So I can still be funny. I can still come up with concepts, which is why I can do YouTube, because one, I use animation so you don't have to see me. Two, I can do voiceover stuff. Three, I can think of things, because for my YouTube, I'm doing Love Island and stuff, which has nothing to do with my real life. So it's easy for me to enjoy doing edits and things. Now, and of course, I'm doing some things on basketball. I'm learning about Toronto Tempo now, right? Okay, I can do that. However, forms, applications, forms. What it is yes, I can do them. However, because I have short-term memory issues now, and because I often say the wrong word, the wrong date, the wrong day, I have to be so meticulously careful with forms. Whereas before I could just fill something out, zoom, 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 zoom. It's not like that with forms anymore, applications, and there have been so many things I've had to do and fill out. One of the things it took me from November until April. It was past due, and I just kept asking for an extension, because the other thing is my brain gets tired. Like if I'm on the computer, I have to, like 20 minutes, and I have a headache and brain fog, and it affects my balance if I'm on the computer. But on the phone, like this, that doesn't affect me the same way. Talking, if I keep talking, I do get tired, and then I start to stutter or slur my words, because it's just something that happens. Okay, so what does this have to do with my hip? I'm dealing with post-concussion syndrome things. I realized after this hospital visit in November that I realized, like, I didn't know the surgeon, I don't know this hospital, but that's where my doctor sent me. So another thing I've had to learn through these last 3 years is to really be my own advocate, and it's not easy, okay? I have to stand up for myself, and sometimes I have to do it all the time, and this is why I have crash outs, because I'm quite calm through everything, and I'm always smiling. Even when I'm standing up for myself. That's actually my real personality. It's not a cover-up, but it does affect me how different my life is now. It does affect me. So, and it's these things that happen that, like the hospital and the forms and how they're rushing me, but I can't take it in fast, right? So basically what happened is I was like, realized I'm not comfortable having my hip replacement at this hospital, because I want to go where I was at first in March. I want to go there, or I have an orthopedic surgeon that I know well, or there. So this, of course, did cause a bit of a rift with my doctor, because she's like, how many requisitions do you want me to? And another thing is, I'm much more sensitive. So I'm crying. All right, I'm crying because I'm still, it's hard to explain, but this whole post-concussion syndrome and the concussion stuff, it's changed me a lot, and I'm recognizing it now. Like, I'm getting more used to the fact that I'm not the same person. Like, I'm still funny and I still kind of feel the same, but there are things that I wouldn't just cry because of that. It's like PMS, Anyway, so, but I still stood my ground with then getting a requisition to see an orthopedic surgeon that I knew, who did my scopes and stuff. But then what happened is, I go to Trinidad every Christmas, and I can hardly walk. I'm in excruciating pain. I asked somebody to come to the airport with me who didn't really help me. That was very stressful on me, also internally, externally, but there was nothing I could do, and I was in so much pain. But I took wheelchair services, and Caribbean Airlines is really good for wheelchair services, so I knew I'd be okay. But I didn't take a cane, which I have. I didn't take crutches, which I have. I did have that thought, but once again, very much like with the concussion stuff, I just thought I was going to get better. Like, I knew my hip, that this pain was excruciating. I did get painkillers before the trip. And at the time, I was getting tested. I also had a liver ultrasound before I left. I was dealing with all this other medical stuff. 2025 was insane medically for me, with tests, hospitals, blood work, for other things outside of the brain and the hip. I was tired. So I actually went home to Trinidad. I can't go back in time and redo it. And I post like nothing's wrong. I was jacked. Like, I was jacked. I was jacked. I don't have another word. Pain-wise, I was jacked. I was posting stuff, and I was telling people, like, my hip was hurt. It was hard to walk. If y'all saw me, especially in Tobago, like, I could do it at the other places because I was in a hotel, so I didn't have to really walk. But again, I didn't understand how bad my hip was. It was only when I was home and I couldn't do anything. Like, after limping around the grocery store after landing with my bestie and checking in, and I was excited to go home this year, y'all, because it was the first year that my brain was better and I would be able to do more and not just sleep all the time. But I was in pain all the time, so I still couldn't do more. Like, I still couldn't go for a walk in the botanical gardens. I still couldn't, because I couldn't really walk, y'all. But so I was home in excruciating pain. By my third place I stayed, I called the hotel to ask if they had a cane, and thank God they had one that they had for people if they needed one. They're like, do you want a wheelchair? And I was like, no. But, I probably did need that, Like, I'm always saying no, but I'm learning to say yes. So I made it on the trip. I got to see my little cousins a couple times, but every time I have to get in and out of a car, if you say pain on a scale of 1 to 10, the pain was 25. I went to Trinidad like that and came back. Then I tried to celebrate my birthday. It was terrible for me how much pain I was in. And I invited like different people. I was just like, who is it that I want to see that I never get to see? So some people were actual friends, and other people were people that I've known. And then
keep going. One more. No, flip it around, flip it around. All right, one more. All right, wait, how do you start it? How do you start it? How do you start it? Is it going? You have to edit it. Okay, one more song.
yeah, I'll just leave that part for another time. But I'm glad that I did it. However, it ended up being stressful at the restaurant, and I was just in so much pain, you guys. But I was trying not to let my friends know how bad it was. It was bad. And I haven't been out to do anything since my birthday. I just wanted to celebrate my birthday, you guys, but it was a bit rough how we were treated and just how everything turned out. And even when it was time for me to leave and come home, I was really afraid and I wanted somebody to ride with me. They didn't understand what I was dealing with. And I think part of my thing is I'm quite calm in a crisis. Like when I have a crash out and I'm crying and all of that, that's much after the crisis. So it's always like PTSD. I don't do that while I'm going through things. While I'm going through things, it's kind of all in my mind what's happening. But I was so afraid actually because of how much pain I was in. I never told anybody. And so since my birthday to now, it's just been very painful. So now I'm getting ready for the surgery. And then I now go back to the first hospital. I work on that. It wasn't easy, but I'm back to where I went first, and that's where I'm getting my surgery. And I had to get blood work done. My hemoglobin's low. So I've always had low hemoglobin, always. Normal iron, low hemoglobin. And so then I found out that I'd have to get an iron IV, and I didn't want it. So this whole time has been me like trying to build my iron, taking soft iron pills, changing my diet, trying to eat more meat because I didn't want it. That appointment is booked for next week, and I do have somebody to come with me. But tonight I was really reading about it. Plus my therapist, she's like, why don't you want it? But I realize it's because this surgery is a lot more serious than getting a scope. And the chance of blood loss and different things if you're anemic is really not good. So I'm attaching that to this long write-up because, this to this long diatribe because tonight is because everything I'm taking in is a lot for me. When I say I'm overwhelmed, I mean it. I'm trying to get help, and that's very hard. But I have to take breaks. Sometimes I'm tired. Like today, I slept for like 5 hours. So I didn't have dinner. You know what I had? I just had some Tostitos, strawberry smoothie. I'm baking stuff that I can have tomorrow for breakfast. Because I can't like eat now. It's late at night. So, but when I looked up why you need this iron IV, and maybe why my therapist said that, is that it seems that though I don't want it, I think it's something I have to do. Because when I read about the dangers and why it's important, I realize I'm so afraid of so many different things. I've never had to get an IV before ever for anything other than, like when you have a colonoscopy, you go to sleep. I can't remember. Like I know they stick, but then you're asleep. So I've had that. I've done a sleep study. There's no IV there. And then I've had scopes where they put you to sleep. So, but I've never had an IV. And what it is my mom was in the hospital a lot when I was younger. Plus Mother's Day is coming up. And so hospitals, it's why I'm so afraid of everything. The hospital. It was always hard seeing my mom in the hospital when I was young. And then my sister was in the hospital a lot. Like I had to see her so much, and it was really hard. So I have this thing. So I'm working on my fear, yes, and yes, God is in my life and everything. But, one of the reasons too, like when I had all this pain, I was sharing with somebody and they're telling me to just shake it off. Like God is there. I'm gonna be okay. And I'm like, I need a hip replacement. I'm not okay. And they were brushing it off. I was so upset. But it's, see, I don't, I don't, I don't get upset, angry a lot because it takes so much out of me. So that's why I be writing in my stories and why I'm sharing these things now, because at least I think if I'm sharing it, I'm sure somebody else must be dealing with this. And so anyway, next will be the information of why getting an iron IV is actually important for this. Yeah, so that's why I went into this long story and why I'm attaching about the, what's it called? Iron IV. I'm getting so tired now, my brain. The iron IV, because it is very important for the type of surgery I'm having, and I don't think I really understood that until tonight. So even though I'm saying I'm taking iron and doing all these things, I realize that it's best to keep that appointment, and then I don't have to go on trying to do all this other stuff because yeah. Yeah, because a nurse was assigned to me from the hospital where I'm getting the surgery because of this. So that's what's up.